Today we're teaching the scraping hook serve. First, let's discuss the short serve, how to get more side spin on the ball. The first key point of the scraping hook serve is to make sure your racket is horizontal. Don't let your racket be vertical. A vertical racket is for a chopping hook serve. Your forearm and the racket face should be oriented horizontally. An extremely important point is the draw the bow motion. So, during your backswing, you must pull your shoulder and elbow back. In fact, many players struggle with this serve because they don't pull their arm back, they have no backswing. So you need to pull your arm back, bringing the shoulder and elbow backwards. This is how you'll feel the spin generated by the sideways brushing motion. If you don't pull back, it's like a left side spin serve, more of a push that won't generate much spin. So for the backswing, you must pull your shoulder and elbow back. Position your racket at your hip, and then brush the ball on contact. This creates the friction needed to produce spin. Pull the arm back, brush forward. The backswing is crucial, many players overlook this. Most poor serves are actually caused by an inadequate backswing. Once you execute the backswing properly, you can fully feel the friction. When you first practice the hook serve, here's a tip. Start with your racket already in the backswing position. Then just toss and brush. Once you've mastered this step and made the backswing a habit, the rest of the hook serve becomes much easier. The second key point is the direction of force. Let's use points A, B, and C as an analogy. Point A is the full backswing position. Point B moves forward toward the table's end line, the white baseline. About 2/3 of the way there, you reach point C, where you start moving sideways and forward. Point A, backswing to the hip. Point B, wrap around the ball and brush forward, because you must hook your racket face inwards. At B, brush forward. At C, go sideways forward. Point A, backswing. Point B, brush forward. Point C, sideways forward. I require everyone to master 3 aspects. First, you must hook inwards. This is the biggest challenge of the hook serve. Second, regarding the direction of force, your shoulder and elbow must be engaged. Like this, no spin. Like that, spin. Drive them down and forward. Hook the racket face inwards, drive the shoulder and elbow forward. This is extremely important. Many players can't generate power on the sideways brush because they only use their hand, not their shoulder. Third, you must learn the sideways brush. You can play around with it, don't be too timid. Just get the feeling of brushing the ball out, that's a hook serve. 5 reasons your serve is weak. 1. No backswing. 2. Motion is only downwards. 3. Motion is only forwards. 4. Can't hook inwards. 5. Tossing too far from your body. What we should do: 1. Have a backswing. 2. Hook inwards. 3. Move sideways. 4th, toss the ball a bit closer to your body. If you toss the ball this far away, how can you contact the right side of the ball? Even when you extend your arm, you're still behind the ball. You must toss the ball here, brush its right side, and complete the follow-through for it to be a proper hook serve. You really should practice the hook serve. You might feel like you're not using much power, but it's definitely spinnier than your left side spin serve. It might seem difficult at first, but once you master it, it will be a huge asset in matches. 80% of top players use a hook serve. For instance, is this serve sidespin topspin or sidespin backspin? Everyone thinks it's topspin, but it's actually backspin. So that's the beauty of the hook serve. Its speed and trajectory look a lot like sidespin topspin. But with the same motion, I can also serve sidespin topspin. See? This is topspin. It's like walking on stairs. As an analogy, going from the third floor to the first, third, second, first, that's a backspin ball. A topspin ball is like going from the first floor to the third, first, second, third. That's a topspin ball. I'm exaggerating the motion at first so you can see the principle. But in reality, the range of motion is tiny at contact. Maybe this is topspin, and this is backspin, just this tiny difference. That's why it's so deceptive. Look, this is backspin, and this is topspin. The direction of force for both is sideways forward. That's non-negotiable. Your topspin goes this way, and your backspin goes the same way. In the beginning, you must force the motion sideways and then forward. Once you get good, you can use explosive, short power. When you're struggling, just focus on pushing that force out. So, sidespin backspin is third floor, second floor, first floor. This is a sidespin backspin. For sidespin topspin, you start from the first floor. One is downstairs, the other is upstairs. First floor, second floor, third floor. Next, let's talk about where the power comes from. I'll start with the arm. I mentioned using the shoulder and elbow earlier. So the shoulder and elbow are 2 points of force generation. Whichever direction you're generating force, your shoulder and elbow follow. The second point of force is the hip. Once you can add deception, you don't need to be so exaggerated. For backspin, your body presses down. For topspin, your body moves forward. The hip's direction changes slightly. The hip generates speed. It's not for spin, but it creates speed. The third point of force must be the forearm. Look, the forearm folds in, then extends out. This power comes from the forearm, much like throwing a punch. Exactly like a punch, retract, extend, extend. That's the feeling of a hook serve. For backspin, watch my forearm, push down. For topspin, push up. But if your forearm has no folding motion in this sequence, the ball will be very difficult to spin. If your motion is like this, it's not very spinny. The opponent can easily push it back. But when you use a backswing to store energy, increasing the friction path, they can't push the topspin serve back. Add your fingers, and it gets even spinnier. If you only apply force from point B to C, the distance is limited, making it hard to generate spin. It's like any other stroke. To generate power, you need space. It's the same principle. When you fold your forearm, complete the backswing at point A, and then generate force towards C, they won't be able to push it. Fifth, when generating force, you must learn to use the momentum of your entire body. When you serve with right side spin, your body, including your legs, hips, and upper body, has to flow forward with the motion, right? Your left side spin serve goes this way, so your hook serve has to go that way. You must synchronize your body's power, converging all forces into a single point of contact. Imagine your hand is moving sideways but your upper body is static. How can you generate power? Maybe for a short serve, but what about a long one? So when you watch my hook serve, you'll see I always commit my body weight into it. Sixth is the fingers. The actual finger action for topspin versus backspin is extremely brief and subtle. Topspin is upwards, backspin is downwards. The range of motion is this small. Any bigger and it becomes obvious. Is the motion I'm doing now for topspin or backspin? It's for backspin. It's really just this much. Just this tiny bit. To feel the brush, you should practice serving into the net. A serve that clears the net like this isn't spinny enough. It's the same for penhold grip, topspin, backspin. The rest of the power comes from the arm. Whether it's backspin or topspin, the contact is very focused. It's incredibly subtle, which is why it's hard to read. If your motion is too large, when you serve topspin, they'll attack it. When you serve backspin, they'll push it. But if your motion is very subtle, that split-second action is hard to read, making it easy for them to miss the return. You must learn to use that explosive, short power at the moment of contact. Don't use a large follow-through. You might feel it's spinnier, but to your opponent, the serve is completely transparent. It's too obvious. It's a serve where they already know the spin. No matter how heavy it is, they can make contact without making a mistake. But if your motion is this small and they can't read it, thinking it's backspin, then the threat is much greater. So this sixth point of force, in the fingers, must be a very subtle lift, for topspin, or drop, for backspin. Join our membership to unlock daily exclusive shorts, and discover the coach's secret tips and tricks on table tennis technique. You'll also get our weekly on-court coaching series. Silver members get even more and also unlock the exclusive weekly Coach's Corner series. Thank you for supporting the channel's growth.